is I see they are asking me to do the income statement, right? And they only want the note for fixed assets, so they don't want the whole face. So, first thing I always do is I go put in what they gave me. So, if I go to the nominal accounts, right, there, now I see sales 5970, cost of sales 3.2, debtors allowance 70, right, and then salary and employers contributions. Can you see this is the option where they put everything together, and they didn't even have to say that to you. That's not that salary and employers contribution, they don't have to say that. This is just a way for them to tell you not to show it separately. Okay, so salaries, it's already in. Sundry, it's already in. No, it's not. So let's just put it there because there might be adjustments. Bad debts. Bad debts recovered is already in. Rent income. Interest on fixed deposit. I remember that's a income. So I put that right at the bottom. Okay. I am, other than the balance sheet, I'm not going to fill in a format here. Right? I'm just going to make sure that all the words are there. But I'm going to wait. And I'm going to do this separately. Because note 3 it needs all the attention it can get. So, here we go. No entry has been made for defective stock returned by a debtor. Now immediately go to your AOL. So you know debtors allowance, debtors control, trading stock, cost of sales. Your debtors allowance becomes more, which means your sales becomes less. So your sales is less. I want you to write it down somewhere that you remember. It's always, when it's a DJ, everything pluses. Ne? Your debtors control, your sales, your cost of sales. But your trading stock, minus. Okay? When it's a DAJ, DAJ. It's almost a DAJ. When it's a DAJ, everything minus your debtors control, your salary, your cost of sales. But your trading stock plus. Why? Because with a DJ, when it's sales, I lose stock. There, he bought the pencil. There goes the pencil. My stock is less. Now he gets outside and he says, oh, this is a gross one, someone ate it, and he brings it back. Can you see now my stock becomes more? You see? Next. So now let's go look. I know now this is a DAJ, so my sales are going to minus. My cost of sales is going to minus. And my trading stock is going to plus. So I'm somehow going to draw a T for trading stock. Ne? And my trading stock, whatever is the cost of sales here, they say it's 15,000 with a markup of 50%. So it's going to be 10,000. Because if it's 50%, you work in thirds. So 2/3 is a cost and 1/3 is a profit. So it's going to be 10,000. So immediately you know you're getting 10,000 stock back. You see? And the other one that's influences debtors control is going to become less. Do I need debtors control in this exercise? Maybe, because provision for bad debts might be coming. So I'm going to draw a little T here for debtors control and say, oh, debtors control is getting less with 15. Can you see the sales goes with the control? The cost of sales goes with the stock. Trading stock on hand as per physical stock taking is 1531,123. So now I want to see what was the balance, the closing balance of the stock. It was 1534000. Why do I say this is the closing balance? Because it's the closing balance in my books. This is the counting balance. This is what they counted. So now this is actually the correct closing balance. So what can you see? If I add this up, 134, can you see this side is more than this side?
Yes.
So that makes it a trading stock deficit, which I don't know where the rest of my papers, oh there. Trading stock deficit. If I, as the marker, cannot see this, meaning you did it on your question paper, you have to go rewrite it here. But if you did this here, next to your income statement on the answer sheet, you don't have to redo it. Just make sure that I can find it. Okay, don't do it on the back page. You know, you had 7 questions and this is question 2 and you did it on the back page. Then just say, see page 7. Okay? Right. So, what is my trading stock deficit? 18,000. 13,000. So if you have this right, this is going to be 4 marks. If this is wrong, it's going to be nothing. Unless I can go there and say 1, 2, 3, 4. If you put it as a surplus, it's wrong.
Yeah, completely.
Unless I can see the calculation, it's 1, 2, 3. Okay. Next. A debtor was declared insolvent, meaning there's going to be bad debts. And there's going to be debtors control. His estate paid 40 cents in the rand. We received 450. And that was recorded. It's important that they tell you that it was recorded, because otherwise you still needed to subtract that also from the debtors. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So now let's go look. I have the total debt. Consists of the bank, or what I received, and the bad debt. Right? The total debt is 100. They say I received 40 cents, meaning I'm writing off 60 cents. So I take the 450. The 450 is the bank. So it's the 40 cents. And I'm looking for the 60. UK. You see?
We love UK.
675. And I need to subtract 675. Now, look at number 4. They say to you, provision for bad debts must be adjusted to, meaning this is the new one. You see? And what's my steps again? New minus old gives me a plus or a minus adjustment. Okay? So they already calculated for you. So now you go look, what was the old one? 22. So can you see your answer is going to be a minus. And how much is the minus? 1679. And that's my adjustment. And it's an income because it's a minus. So it's, in other words, that one, let me just find it again, the 2321, which is the new one that they give me, less the 2022, which is the old one in the trial balance. Another way that they can give it, instead of saying 2, they will say, and please listen, because this is how they're going to ask it. Please listen. They say provision for bad debts must be adjusted, must increase with 300 rand. You see, now they give you the adjustment, and it's an increase, so it's an expense. Or they will say it has to be adjusted upwards with 300 rand. Then it means that 300 rand is a expense. Can you see the worth? If they say worth, it is the adjustment. If they say to, it's the new one. Advertising. So I know advertising is an expense. So I can only have an accrued expense or a prepaid expense. It's included in the sundry. An amount of 30,000 has been paid for January, February and March. Can you see it's 10,000 each? Yeah. So March falls without my year. It's after this year. So I'm going to subtract 10 from sundry. Okay? Does it make sense? Let's go again. So they say I paid January, February, March. January and February is in this year. March is not. So I want to take it out. And it's a prepaid expense, and is that a receivable or a payable?
Receivable.
Receivable. Is that an asset or a liability? Asset. Rent income has been paid 3 months in advance. So immediately, before you even go and try and calculate, you go say there's a minus. Because even if you have this amount wrong, you're still going to get your bagel because you knew to minus. And the income received in advance, is that a receivable or a payable?
Payable.
Payable. Is it an asset or liability?
Liability.
Okay. So now let's go calculate. So this one you can calculate anywhere because they're not going to give you part marks. The part marks they give is here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're not going to give for your calculation part marks. They're going to give it for there. Okay. So I'm somehow going to do it here. So if I look at my financial year, it ends, starts 1st March, end 28 Feb, and they say 3 months in advance, meaning March, April, and May. 3 months in advance. Then they say it increased 1st December. So I'm going to work on 100 and 110. So 100, if I count, gives me March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, 9 months. The 110 gives me December, January, February, March, April, May. 6 months. Because I received 3 months in advance. Can you see that's 15 months? So this gives me,
1560.
isn't it 660?
Oh, sorry.
So it adds up 1560. So again, it's UK. So that is the weight of the rent that they gave you, the 234. So you take the 234, UK. I have 1560, that's the K. What's the unknown? It's March, April, May, 330. Or if I said 110, I must take the answer and times it with 3. So what do I get?
49,500.
Thank you.
So what did you say? The puppies.
Puppies.
So 49.5 puppies. And I know now already I've established I need to minus it. So can you see if you calculated it wrong, you can still get 2 ticks. Okay. Next one. The loan statement, and immediately I'm extremely happy because now I can go and do my T for loan, and that means I can sing it in my head. I've got an opening and a closing and a bank and an interest on loan. And I put in my opening, I put in my closing, and they already gave you the repayments, the total repayments, which is quite a lot. And so it means, why is it such a lot? There can be different reasons, but I think it's because we are getting closer to the end of the loan, so we have paid off quite a lot already. Okay, so what's my interest?
75.
75, and you don't have to write it here. You can go write it there immediately.
May I ask?
Yes.
So when you read, there's a line underneath, right? And it says that interest expense is interest on loan is 70,000. So do I do my 75? Or do
No,
I
no,
use
no.
this 70?
You have not read correctly. If you read here, it says repayments for next year will stay fixed, meaning it's going to stay 423. But now remember that 423 is the interest and the payment on loan. And because I'm paying back on the loan, my interest is becoming less. So next year I will pay less back on the loan. Can you see next year my interest is 70. What was my interest this year? 75. So can you see a bigger part of the payment will now go to paying off the loan. So my short-term loan would be that. And please make a note of that, because now we didn't do the face of the balance sheet, so we're not going to practice it. So, but make a note of that. Okay. Next one. Now we go to fixed assets. And the only thing that goes in my income statement is if there was an asset disposal and a depreciation. So let's go look. They say land and buildings, nothing to do with income statement. Depreciation, asset disposal. So for the asset disposal, I'm going to draw a T because I want the profit or the loss. Or I can take the carry value less the selling price. Right. If it's negative, it's a profit, meaning the selling price is more than it's worth. If it's positive, it's a loss, meaning the selling price is less than the carry value. So, but what do they give me here? They say 29 February a vehicle costing 200,000 was sold for cash, 118. The business made a loss, so they gave it to you. How lucky are you? So you just put in loss, asset disposal, 10,000. Okay. Depreciation is already calculated for you. Ne? Yeah. Oh, the loss is also already in. Thank you. Okay. So we are done with the income statement. So let's close the income statement while we're here. What is my sales?
588.5
Dalmatians. Less,
319.
and that gives me
2695 Dalmatians. 2695.
Okay, what's my rent income?
1845 puppies.
And I block on top.
Oh, I don't know if this is correct or not.
It ends in a 39.
Okay, 190039.
Okay. So it's 19, puppies 39.
Yeah.
And then I bottomize. And it gives me 9305882.
Wow.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, just check my expenses here and add it. So what's my expense? Okay, so what's my operating profit? 145,247. Okay. Is this right?
Oh, I did not get these figures.
Yeah, operating. Oh, do you have
I did not get
Is this wrong?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, what should it be?
13785. What did you get?
Don't do that to me.
What did you get for operating expenses?
Operating expenses, that's a lot of numbers.